Hey, yo, what's the deal? Miss your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I'm saying? As of this recording, it is 7:31. Now, I mean, March 14th, 2025. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I'm just here chilling. You know, I'm downtown Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Well, a little bit away from downtown Brooklyn, but I'm still at a good space. Motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I know SmackDown is actually, so people already like spoiled the shit for SmackDown. I mean, I don't like spoilers. You know what I'm saying? Because I think spoilers, it ruins, well, not really ruin your view, but, spoilers in wrestling kind of, I don't know. It's just a little bit funky for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do a video about tape shows and how I think, it could be better. It's beneficial and such, And yeah, I definitely got some topics that I'm going to create. Hold on real quick. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had to write something down. I had to write another topic that I want to, create for discussion and stuff, But, yeah, so I have not done this topic in a while. You know what I'm saying? With wrestlers that I feel like, was far ahead of their time. And I definitely named some for sure. You know what I mean? I clearly had named some stuff. But also, let me go back into something that I forgot to mention in Dave Meltzer's, not the video that I did with that stupid shit where he talk about WWID, but the stuff with the BET Black wrestlers and Dave Meltzer saying, Abdul the Butcher and such. Another name I should have mentioned was Ahmed Johnson. Even though Ahmed Johnson was a disappointment and such, I mean, Ahmed Johnson, should be up in that list, unfortunately. But let me get back into things. Now, wrestlers that are far ahead of their time, right? Now, this man that I'm about to name is, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, beyond far ahead of his time. And he was different. And the crazy thing is that you got people who had that intensity, right, in pro wrestling, but it's nothing like this man. Sycho Sid or Sid Vicious, whatever you want to call him. Remember, he was Sid Justice when he debuted in the WWF back in like, the early 90s and such. Because I remember playing, WWF Super WrestleMania. I mean, I was 11 when that game came out. And the game was okay. It wasn't great, but, it was all that we had for the Super Nintendo. He was actually in that game. Know what I mean? But going back to Sid. Sid had a look that was very fucking unique. Sid basically had, he had the blonde mullet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had the blonde mullet. He was fucking tall. He was like, what, 6'9"? You know what I mean? He was 6'9", and you could just see the intensity out of dude, boy. You could just see the intensity. Like, I think he was WCW champion before, before going back to the WWF. Now, I'm not sure. I got to go back and look, but that fucking power bomb that he did, shit. Like I said, he was scary. Sid was scary as shit. You know what I mean? And like, the thing with him, he was over at the right fucking time. He was over. Sid was beyond over. Like, his peak actually, cause remember, he was part of the Skyscrapers, him and Dan Spivey. You know what I mean? And even though Dan Spivey was, Dan Spivey really didn't get, the success that he needed until he was Waylon Mercy. I thought Waylon Mercy was fucking great. You know what I mean? I'm surprised they didn't do more with Waylon Mercy. You know what I mean? And that's another person who I should do a video on. But it's always Sid. Sid, whenever I think of the Skyscrapers, it's always Sid and The Undertaker. Sid and The Undertaker. Those two were like inseparable. It's funny because The Undertaker Mark Callis was actually Sid's replacement in the group. And I think this was when Sid had jumped ship to the WWF. Yeah. But going back to thing, I mean, the dude's peak was definitely in 96. in '96 where he won the WWE Championship. Like, this motherfucker was over. Sid was over. The main thing I will always point to is Survivor Series '96 with him and Shawn Michaels. The pop this motherfucker have. And mind you, he's supposed to be a heel. This motherfucker was supposed to be a heel. Again, he had a look that was not only intimidating, but it was perfect. It was perfect. I mean, the motherfucker came with the vest. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he came with the black vest. He was tall. You know what I mean? Like, he had the intimidating look. You know what I mean? The motherfucker would laugh coming down the ring. You know, like, it was like this demonic laugh that he would do. He gets fist pumps. Everybody's like, who's the man? Who's the man? This motherfucker was over at the Garden. But you know what's funny about that match too? You know, just a year later, right? You know, because people were booing Shawn Michaels and stuff during that match, right? But just a year later, and mind you, Shawn Michaels was face, and he was being booed, right, at the Garden. Imagine if we had that Shawn Michaels in 1996. DX Shawn Michaels in 1996. Then it's like, all right, you know what? It's not that bad. But Sid, you know what I mean? Like, Sid was so over that, you know, they kept putting the title back on him. They kept putting it back on him. They kept putting it back on him because that's the only person who they could rely on. They had no choice. You know what I'm saying? They had legit no choice but to put the title on Sid. You know? Hold on real quick. You know, and he was over. You know what I mean? Sid was over. The last time we ever seen him in the WWF, but, you know, after that was, that was the night that the Patriot debuted, you know? And then he wanted to go into ECW, and it was a short stay, but again, that tells you how over he was. You know what I mean? That clearly tells you that this motherfucker was over. Like I said, this nigga looked like a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? He looked like a human action figure. You know what I mean? Like, the dude was no joke. Remember, he got fired from WCW in '94 because of the fight with him and Arn Anderson, you know, with the scissors and shit. Then he goes back to WCW, right? And the same energy that he had in the WWF, he brought it right there to WCW. He was over. You know what I mean? It's messed up that his career got cut short from that accident. You know what I mean? When he broke his leg. And I'm like, oh, man. You know, but I mean, he started wrestling in the indies and such, but his career wasn't the same after that. You know what I'm saying? But he was over. Sid, you cannot deny Sid's impact in pro wrestling. You can't deny it. You know what I mean? This dude was no joke. He was no fucking joke. You know what I mean? That power bomb was insane. The choke slam that he had was good too, but it was the power bomb that did it for me. You know what I mean? It was the power bomb. You know, and of course his last WCW run was controversial in many ways, strictly because of the stuff that happened, and then the Benoit shit. You know what I mean? Like, he did business. Sid did business. You know, Sid wasn't one of those guys who was like selfish. Like, yo, he did business. And that's what I love about Sid. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, the three greatest big men in pro wrestling is always going to be Vader, Sid, and Kevin Nash. Bar none. Bar fucking none. You know? But that powerbomb that he had. See, that's the difference. That's also what I love about all three. All three of their powerbombs were different. They were different. But Sid, you can put Sid in any era. You can put Sid in any era, he'll still be over. Because he had a dominating presence. You know what I mean? Like just the way he just looks at you, like he just stare a hole in you, you know, through your fucking screen. That's how dominant Sycho Sid was. Or Sid Vicious. Whatever you want to call him. Know what I mean? Like, rest in peace, big man. You know what I mean? I think he, you know, like I said, there are wrestlers who have that same intensity, but not like Sid. And I don't think you ever will see that, ever. You know what I mean? So this video is going to go up about 11:45 and stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm just maxing, relaxing, chilling, just doing my walk. But I'm going to definitely catch y'all. I definitely will catch y'all tomorrow. So, all right? So I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace!